What's going on, everyone? This is Kevin here, coming at you with a quick update video about the LG Stylo 6. So let's get started. So there have been quite a few leaks coming out over the last couple of weeks involving the Stylo 6, but nothing to the level of what just came out. Now it looks like this document is from Boost Mobile, based on the fact that we have an LG K51 on here as well, and that the text is in orange, which is Boost Mobile's color. Now most likely the LG Stylo 6 will be making its way over to a variety of different carriers, just like the Stylo 5 did. So I'm looking forward to seeing it make its way over to Metro by T-Mobile, Cricket, of course Boost as well, but even other carriers like Verizon and maybe even AT&T. So we'll see what happens, but if history repeats itself, the Stylo 6 will most likely be a huge success, just like the Stylo 5. But what's really cool about this is that the Stylo 6 is a completely new phone. If you're familiar at all with the Stylo 5, then you'll know that it literally is a Stylo 4 with a newer version of Android on it. So that was a big disappointment back when the phone came out in June of 2019. But it looks like LG is giving us a brand new piece of hardware with the LG Stylo 6. Now, not every single specification about this phone is listed on this spec sheet, but there are quite a few key pieces of information here that will give us a good idea of what we're getting with the phone. The first thing is the display. It looks like the LG Stylo 6 is going to be coming with a 6.8-inch 1080p display. Most likely it will be LCD, since the Stylo 5 is LCD, and LG has not, to my knowledge, put out a budget phone ever with an AMOLED display. It looks like we are getting a triple camera setup, so we're getting a 13 megapixel main camera, a 5 megapixel wide angle camera, and a 5 megapixel depth sensing camera. So that's really cool because the LG Stylo 5 only had one camera on the back and didn't even give us portrait mode, so besides the front camera. But LG does confirm on here though that we are indeed getting portrait mode with both the front and rear cameras on the Stylo 6, which is fantastic. We're of course getting the stylus itself, that's the whole point of this phone, and we're getting an increase in internal storage with 64 gigabytes in this phone, up from 32 gigs with the Stylo 5. Now, one downside though is that we are getting 3 gigs of RAM with the LG Stylo 6, which is the same amount that we got with the Stylo 5. So come on LG, seriously? 3 gigs of RAM? Just give us 4. We need 4. At least 4, come on. And then it looks like we're also getting a 4,000 milliamp hour internal battery, which is fine. That is a downgrade though from the Stylo 5's 4,500 milliamp hour internal battery. But that doesn't necessarily mean that battery life is going down, because there's a lot of other factors that can influence battery life beyond the actual battery capacity. It looks like we are getting a water drop notch with this phone as well, which is okay. That's kind of more of a 2019 thing, but it seems like LG is always a year behind when it comes to the designs of their phones. It looks like we're getting kind of a rainbow gradient for the color on the back. We're also getting a fingerprint sensor on the back too, and I do wish that we had a side-mounted fingerprint sensor or an in-display fingerprint sensor instead, but that's not the end of the world. There are some advantages with having a fingerprint sensor on the back of the device. And it also looks like the display itself, of course it is 6.8 inches, which is awesome, but it looks like it is more of a taller form factor, so it's most likely 19.5 by 9, just like the LG K51. So the biggest thing that we don't know yet with the LG Stylo 6 is what processor it has. They do not list the processor on this specific document, which leads me to believe that it probably won't be anything too impressive, unfortunately. Now, I'm pretty sure it won't be the Qualcomm Snapdragon 450 again, because that would mean that this would be the 3rd year with that processor. And I wouldn't be surprised if they go for a MediaTek processor, just like how the LG K51 has a MediaTek processor. Now, hopefully with the LG Stylo 6, we're going to get the MediaTek Helio P60 or P70. That would be fantastic. That actually wouldn't be a bad thing at all. And that would make sense because they don't list the processor, and typically companies don't really brag that they have a MediaTek processor in their phone, even though that's not necessarily a bad thing. So I want to know what you think. What processor would you like to see in the LG Stylo 6? It looks like that's really the only mystery left about this phone, of course, besides the pricing, but typically Stylo phones have a MSRP of $299 and typically go down in price quite a bit pretty quickly beyond that. Of course, with this device on various carriers, you're probably going to be getting a bunch of different deals with porting in from another carrier or creating a new line or even a family plan deal. So we'll have to see. That's based off of the individual carrier, of course. But the good news though is that we definitely have the LG Stylo 6 coming soon. And it looks like it is going to be a dramatic improvement over the LG Stylo 5. That's not saying much, but again, I'm excited for it. I can't wait to get it. I certainly will be getting the LG Stylo 6 to cover here on the channel. So make sure to hit that sub button so that you don't miss out on any future content regarding the device. But anyway, thanks everyone for watching. Hopefully you enjoyed this quick video here. Give it a thumbs up and I will see you in the next one.